Do deaf people understand puns? Are there some combinations of sign language which are hilariously ambiguous? Signing the word milk when moving it pasteurizes pasteurized milk. Pasteurized milk. That's appalling. Have a like. I love working at Joan Fabrics. Today a guy asked me to show him the fake fur, and when I did, he goes, "No, this won't do," and part of my job is giving advice for projects. So I asked him what he was using it for, and he looks down at the floor and quietly says, "I wanna make a Yeti costume to scare people with when we go skiing." Scooby-Doo villain. I Google searched for cool wallpaper and set the time range to 1999 to 2008 and had the time of my life. Some people think I learned Braille for cool points, but I actually learned it because my medicine holder has the days printed in Braille and I forget to take my medication a lot. I didn't feel like turning on a light one night just to see my medication, so I learned Braille out of spite. Now, every time I go anywhere I have to read the Braille signs, and I have seen woman misspelled as Noman several times. Tired of waking up to take medication? Learn Braille. You shouldn't learn Braille if you aren't blind. It's rude. Go die. Dear Diary. Today I got a death threat for learning a language. Incredible. A lot of people's response to billion-dollar corporations using child slave labor is remember to shop ethically, and not corporations should not be doing this in the first place and need to be stopped. And the fact that basic human decency is the ethical option, not the norm. The bar for capitalism is literally underground. Nestle, read this. I was trying to make my friend a birthday cake, but the dye on the decorative icing started leaking and dripping everywhere, so it accidentally became the most ominous and violent looking baked good I've ever seen. I slapped on some sprinkles to try and make it less threatening looking. It worked a little bit. Birth. Coke is so much better without bubbles. What is wrong with you? He doesn't mean it bubbles. Isn't Bubbles a little young to be doing coke? Fking Christ. What happened to my post? I really relate to snakes. I too wanna eat several times my body weight and take a nap in the sun. And then take of your whole skin at once to reveal a new one and leave the old one behind. See, you get it. I too wish to unhinge my jaw and consume an egg whole. You get it a little less. So, when it rained a lot the other day, the front pasture got pretty flooded, and when I called the babes up for breakfast, Howdini was walking around the pond and went to go stand on his board that he loves to stand on, and it started to move, and that's the story of probably the first horse who ever surfed. You can lead a horse to water, but you didn't know he'd be shredding fking waves. I hate when rich people condescend with the whole money can't buy happiness argument. Like, listen, just because buying your fourth car didn't fill the void in your deluded disconnected from reality life, doesn't mean not having to worry about food, bills, medicine wouldn't greatly improve the mental health of literally everyone else on the planet. Megan. I coming to minds. Megan was knocked unconscious. Megan. I got fucked up by a bee. I love multiplayer. I honestly hate how art and media have kind of romanticized the idea of like going off your meds and being your true self again, because like I started taking antidepressants and like immediately got a new job, found a place to live, improved my relationships with people in my life, and completely reconciled with my sort of estranged ex-girlfriend. Medication can be rad, and while I realize that it's not for everybody, I don't think anything should be trying to convince anyone that being on medication inherently makes you less of who you are. Most medication is for helping you to be you again. The real me isn't tired by just walking to the train station. The real me is not my anxiety or depression. They don't define me. The real me is who I am when I'm not anxious and feeling worthless 24/7. Medication is supposed to be the chemical equivalent of glasses or a wheelchair, depending on the severity of impairment. It tries to help you compensate for what has been taken, been broken, or is missing. In particular, I always hear the myth that antidepressants give you artificial happiness. No, no, no. They give your brain the ability to be happy. You won't always be happy, and sometimes you'll be sad. But the happiness you're able to feel when you're on meds is your own real happiness. I just kinda automatically think of all my mutuals as my age, but then one person will mention getting married and having a baby, and another will mention going into their junior year of high school, and I'm like, wait, what? Mutual 1. My husband bought me roses today. Me. You're what? Mutual 2. Gets an ask that congratulates them with their 14th birthday. Me. You're what? Justice is best served cold, because if it were served warm, it would be just water. This one was bad enough to make me slow blink at the computer as I grinned, so therefore I have to inflict it on everyone else too. Them's the rules. Is this a fking rainbow cheesecake? I'm fking making this. Original video. How to make rainbow cheesecake. Reblogging for future reference. I made a rainbow cake for my first college party. I covered it in black frosting and dusted it with white sprinkles so it would be very dramatic when it was cut in two. The cake was thrown onto a table with a bunch of other desserts and kind of forgotten about. The host had taken it from me with a look of, I can't believe this idiot freshman made a fking black cake. Cue 2 hours later, when someone cut into it and screamed, Jesus fking Christ, come and see this cake. After that, I had more friends than I knew what to do with. Me my dear, Photoshop the goose from Untitled Goose Game into the background of a photo of a place where something bad happens, but it's a photo of before the bad thing happening. So it's implied that the goose caused it. Like this. Oh, if I had Photoshop, the Titanic would be my first target. Say no more. You are my personal hero. I hope you know this. May I present a humble alternative where the goose is present during the bad thing happening. Example. Oh my god. Put him in Pompeii. I hope it's okay that this one is stylized. Our dear time traveler must stay with the times if they must wreak havoc appropriately. Your wish is my command. Does the goose have a fking knife too? This knife has caused me more suffering than any amount of editing will in my life. I'm sure Julius Caesar felt the same fking way about the knife. Too soon. Egg frozen in ice. Looked like a titty. You ever seen a titty, son? Yeah, hi, Google. This is the funniest fking ad I've ever seen. How to tell if a guy likes you. 5 signs to learn. Learn to identify the common signs that a guy is interested in you today. Causes and risk factors. Interesting facts. Preventative measures. Signs and symptoms. I fking hate it when you're in such a fantastically giddy mood and then you see one simple little thing that makes you think, oh, and then you just get this empty feeling in your chest and you get nauseous and the world just crumbles and you want to just lay under a blanket and close your eyes and fall asleep and never wake up. From what my therapist told me, this happens because our emotions aren't really on the opposite ends, like we tend to think of it. Happiness is not up, and sadness is not down. In a way, they're actually right next to each other. If you're super happy, it can turn into super sad very easily because your emotions are already highly elevated and it's only a very minor shift as far as your brain is concerned. Knowing this can help you fight it, and it can help you be more aware of what's going on while you're happy and help avoid shifting towards misery. I used to always wonder why it seemed like my happy days couldn't last, or that bad things would always happen when I was happy. It's not that happiness is doomed to fail, it's that emotions are volatile. I hope that helps people who experience this too. When you understand what's going on more, it's easier to manage. Hades is faithful to his wife. Hades spends his time chillin' in the underworld. Hades doesn't really get involved in the storms other gods cause. Hades is just inputting punishments over to sinners. Hades, technically all harsh punishments were made by his wife. Hades is the antagonist in every media about Greek gods. The myth of Achilles, but instead of holding him by the heel, Thetis submerges him fully so that Achilles is completely invulnerable and Thetis has one invulnerable hand. She only needs one oven mitt when taking cookies out of the oven, but there would still be two small parts of him that are vulnerable because they were covered by her fingertips at the time, stopping the water from touching them, which means those fingertips are also vulnerable on her hand. Achilles putting those little round band-aids on two parts of his ankle before battle. Thetis knitting fingertip oven mitts for her thumb and forefinger. This is a Greek comedy I could get behind. What if she put him in a sack and dunked him in? The water would saturate the sack and soak him, and so long as she pulled him out quick, he wouldn't drown. Then they'd have a sack that's invulnerable too and can be used as the most unexpected shield ever. Imagine Achilles storming Troy with one invulnerable sack for a shield. Thetis just sticks him in one of these bad boys and swirls him around like a batch of chicken nuggets until he's invulnerable all over. Favorite part of The Witcher is seeing all these self-identified heterosexual men on Twitter thirsting over Henry Cavill. Put Henry Cavill in tight leather pants and suddenly a lot of men are learning something about themselves. Another reason male superheroes should dress sluttier. Stop leaving the best parts in the tags. No results found for Walter White's hat is haunted, and when he puts it on it makes him evil. My apparently very exclusive Breaking Bad fan theory. So you're saying Frosty the Snowman and Walter White have the same sort of haunted hat? Human babies are 80% water at birth, a slightly higher water content than bananas, and slightly less than fresh potatoes. Once again shown up by the power and dignity of the root vegetable. And here we see the silicone that was originally in the breast of an idiot. And here we see a judgmental idiot that doesn't know the difference between an implant and a jellyfish. I thought it was a contact lens for anime people. Pills that taste like lemon. Why did I laugh at this? I saw the future. There were so few bees left that they crossbred beekeepers with them so they could better connect with them. I was taking a test to identify plants. I won because some dude thought pineapples were berries, and after that I met a beekeeper who worked inside of a giant glass beehive and had little antennas and a dope-ass beard. Everyone was commenting on this post saying that pineapples are berries, and even I was like, huh, that's not right. So I looked it up, and is pineapple a berry? A pineapple is neither a pine nor an apple, but a fruit consisting of many berries that have grown together. This also means that pineapples are not a single fruit, but a group of berries that have fused together. The scientific name of a pineapple is Ananas communis. Okay, was anybody going to tell me that pineapples are berries? Or was I just supposed to read that in a one-time I dreamt post myself? Bananas, tomatoes, watermelons, coffee, cocoa, pomegranates, and pumpkins are also berries. What? What do you mean pomegranates are berries? You know what isn't a berry? Strawberries. Fruit scientists. Hey, is everyone ignoring the part of the dream where bees and beekeepers f***ed everyone else? Tumblr user yeem.